So here we go. Highest tide I've ever seen since I've been here. The tide line is normally about 20 yards out from here. So here we are at the normal tide line. It's a bit damp, isn't it? Okay, heading out to ford the river. This could be a little bit interesting today. As of yesterday, I was playing tiptoe through the jellyfish, and today, well, we've got an extra foot or 18 inches of water compared with the highest it's ever been for me. So I'm really going to have to pay close attention and make sure I don't step into a deep hole, because the deep holes, which are scoured out by the currents, can mean a sudden drop of a foot or 18 inches. Normally the water doesn't go any higher than the center of my chest, but today I could be in up over my shoulders if I make a mistake. As it is, because the water's nice and clear, you just keep looking down, and once you're familiar with what you're looking at, you can tell if the water if the sand depth suddenly changes. You can see the difference in the perspective. No jellyfish so far. Okay, so now suddenly there's a dip there. If we see that dark patch there, that probably is a dip. Yeah, I'm into deeper water. Whoa! Right up to my neck. Here we go again. So this central area is where the river flows through, and very shortly we're going to be reaching shallower waters again, but I'm still right up to my shoulders. And I'm glad my camera's not in my bag, because my bag is floating behind me. Whew, that was fun. We're back into shallow water again. Oh, my bag's full of water. Really heavy. And yes, there we go. First jellyfish of the day. There's another one. So I'm standing on the sandbank, which is the normal high tide line at this time of year, and as you can see, within the sandbank the water is flowing to our right, which means that it's giving this whole beach area a nice wash and removing all the plastic and trash. Sadly, of course, that means it's all getting washed back into the sea. except for the pieces that are already buried in the sand like this, which will remain here until someone picks them up. So I don't know if you can see them or not, but there's a shoal of tiny little fishes here. Can't get close to them, of course. And here is the remains of a boat which is normally above water. That end post, or whatever it is, I've never seen it this far underwater. It's usually at the top foot or 18 inches of it's always above water, even at the highest of tides. So this is an exceptional tide today. So I guess this is going to be my very first video to go up on my new Facebook group on the beach. Here you see it. This is what humans are doing to our ocean. The ugly side of disposable everything. Old shoes, the bottles, the food containers, fishing float there, another old shoe, some kind of charger, you name it, it ends up in the sea. And of course, I'm sure that the people who live in this shack, and they do live there, were not really planning on the water being that high. Now that is wasp comb. A couple of weeks back I was walking under this tree and I got stung on the head. Now that there is a nice new comb and it's very small. I suspect that the person who stung me was the lady who created that. And if we look at this branch over here, that is old comb from previous nests, or a nest, I don't know. It wasn't a particularly pleasant experience. Wasp stings always hurt. But I still don't like the fact that I had to kill her to stop her from stinging me. She got me twice before I got her. So, crossing the river is just fun. Even in the worst of the rainy season, when the river was basically in flood, the water never got any deeper than that, and you just had more wave action to handle. And here we are. The water is washing up against the bottom of the trees, which is, for this time of the year, definitely not normal. So here we are. This is a routine trash site. It just all washes up here. This isn't people deliberately abandoning things on this location. When the wind is in the right direction, everything that the people out in the fishing boats drop all ends up here. Fishing floats, fishing lures, fishing line, all kinds of assorted pieces of rope. It's enough to make you cry. It really is. So this particular little section here, this first 100 meters or so, doesn't get under the water normally at all, or at least not within the time zone that I've been here. Now this, okay, so the sand here is probably 6 inches higher today than it was yesterday. This high tide really has changed the shape of the beach yet again. It's a polystyrene paradise. That damn stuff just gets everywhere. Now this little stream has been one of my projects. Normally it's just a little trickle, but in the rainy season it became really quite the little flood at times. And I've been taking pictures of this on a regular basis from roughly the same location, and it's kind of like watching a delta being recreated and recreated on a day-by-day basis. It changes within hours, and right now, well, it's completely cut off from the sea, so I'm going to stop now and take a couple of pictures. Today is going to be a no-shell day. I have never seen the beach with so few shells. Basically, I really haven't seen one. Another couple of fishing floats. Those have been in the sea a long time. And here's another interesting little item. Here's another fish trap. I assume these are fish traps because the opening into them is on the side and is quite large. I cannot imagine that preventing crabs from getting back out again. I don't know quite what is going on, but this is also washed up. This one's made of wood, as you can see. No, in fact, by the looks of things, I think it's actually fallen off of a boat. If you look just here, that would probably be the rope which would have a piece of polystyrene on the end of it, so that the fisherman can come back and collect it. How interesting. A good day for driftwood. But the plastic goes on. Some more of those floats. Cambodian hat. And yes, folks, all that stuff out there in the water is more trash. It was obvious to me when I first started walking down this beach that the tide did at some point come in to this height, but like I said, I've never seen this before. There's always been a beach. Somewhat diminished.